Have you ever opened an old wooden box in your attic and found something that made your heart race? I did. Inside was a weathered leather diary, faded ink blurring the pages, and a yellowed black and white photo of a young soldier standing beside an ancient oak tree. His name was James, a man I'd never met, but his story changed how I see war, hope, and the things that survive even when everything else burns away. Picture 1968. A small village nestled near a forest, the scent of damp earth mixing with smoke from thatched roof kitchens. James, 22 years old, scribbled letters to his little sister from a makeshift bunker, the dim glow of an oil lamp illuminating his trembling hands. "Tomorrow's her birthday," he wrote, "but I can't send a gift. I just hope when she grows up, she understands why her father was away." Outside, distant artillery fire cracked like summer thunder, but James smiled anyway. He knew war could steal everything, but the memory of family was a lantern lighting his way. The box also held a pocket watch, a gift from his late mother. Every tick reminded him of her kitchen, where she baked apple pies while humming hymns. He shared the watch with a friend, Thomas, a black soldier from the American South. They couldn't have been more different. James was quiet. Thomas always joked and sang folk songs as the unit trudged through mud. But both clung to that watch like a prayer, "Let us survive." Then one rainy night, Thomas didn't return. James only found his red scarf draped over a branch near the stream where they'd promised to plant a flower garden if they ever made it home. He kept the scarf like treasure, and every year on that day, he placed it beneath the oak where they'd once sat. When I read this, I cried, not for the war, but for the tenderness amid chaos. For people thrown into hell who still found ways to hold onto something pure. And if you're wondering what happened to James, let's continue. James survived. But he never forgot Thomas. Back home, he planted a young oak by the river, where the wind rustled leaves like whispers from the fallen. Every year, he wrote a letter to Thomas, never sent, just hung on its branches. "The weather's nice today. My daughter just got into college. If you were here, we'd drink beer and sing 'This land is your land' until we were hoarse." He said that in 1975, a girl visited the tree. "My dad said this is where American soldiers' spirits gather," she told him. James smiled, showing her the letters. "They're not for the dead," he said. "They're for the living, to remember we're not alone." From then on, the girl became a regular visitor, bringing wildflowers and stories about a new generation, kids born after the war, who'd never known gunpowder but still learned to cherish peace. One day, James received a strange gift, the red scarf folded neatly with a note. "My father kept this," it read. "Thomas was my uncle. He never spoke much of the war, but he always mentioned a friend named James and a pocket watch. Turns out, Thomas survived, but was gravely injured, losing his memory for years. When he recovered, he couldn't remember his best friend. Only when his nephew found the scarf in an old suitcase did the memories rush back. When they finally reunited, words failed them. James handed back the scarf, and Thomas burst into tears like a child. They embraced beneath the oak, where hundreds of letters now clung to its trunk like paper flowers. I think that's what war leaves behind, not just scars, but unexpected connections between souls. Even when bombs divide, humanity finds a way to return to one another. And if you're wondering what happened after, let's move to the final part. James passed away in 2003 at age 57. But the oak still stands. Locals say each morning, fresh letters appear on its branches, letters from aging soldiers, from children who lost fathers, from people who just want to say thank you. The girl, now middle-aged, tends the tree like a sacred heirloom. "War took much," she says, "but it couldn't steal kindness." Thomas lived to 80. Before he died, he left instructions: scatter my ashes under the oak. And if possible, sing a folk song. On that day, the whole village gathered, children, elders, those who'd never known war. They sang. They laughed. They told stories. And the oak tree, with its fluttering letters, seemed to smile. James and Thomas's story isn't history. It's a metaphor for how we preserve memory, for forgiveness, for hope after ruin. But if you've ever lived through a war, whether real or the wars within ourselves, you understand. Some things can't be fixed, but we can rebuild from the ashes, with human connection, with memory, with unsent letters. So if you feel lost, remember, someone is waiting for you under an oak tree somewhere. Someone will hug you and say, "We survived." Tell me your story. If this touched your heart, share your own memory of someone you've lost, something you've overcome. Don't be afraid to cry. Don't be afraid to laugh. Let memories lead the way. Thank you for listening. Until next time.